Hello, my name is Ken. Welcome to my Fundamentals of GeoGuessr Duels series. In this series, we created a brand new GeoGuessr account, and we started with just the very basics. So, how to identify each continent, and we started at the very bottom of duels in the bronze division, and we've slowly added more and more information and worked our way up the ranks. We're currently in a new week, so we got promoted to Silver 2. Let's just take a quick look to see how we did and what kind of points you needed to get promoted. So we did pretty good in 14th place with 2,500 points, and it looked like you needed just over 600 points to get promoted into Silver 2. So those numbers are going up. If we look back 2 weeks ago, to get into Silver 3, you only needed about 300 points. So this person did it with 209. So it is getting more competitive. We have more opponents who are using their tokens and getting some points based on that. So today I thought we'd take a look at a few small countries that have been giving us big problems. So let me switch on over to our map. And the countries that I want to talk about are Taiwan, Israel, and Singapore. So this is not a geopolitical video. It is strictly about GeoGuessr, but I know that these places can all give us some big problems sometimes. So hopefully we'll sort them out, at least for GeoGuessr, and we'll start making some guesses here. So the first one I wanted to start with was Taiwan. So we've seen this country a few times, and unfortunately our Southeast Asia guess is not good enough for when our opponents are guessing like Japan or South Korea. I guess we could have grouped in Taiwan to those countries and that region, but we never did. And I thought maybe we would just sort it out and then we'd be good with it. So um, first thing in Taiwan is they speak Chinese, so you will see Chinese characters all over. They do drive on the right, and they have very similar street lines to North America. So they have the double yellow lines and then the white on the outside. So double yellow in the middle and then the white lines on the outside. The other huge clue that I wanted to show you was here. So um, on many of their electric poles, they have these diagonal dashes, so yellow and black, and they go all the way down to the bottom of the pole most of the time. I think we did see this in a previous round where we played an opponent and we guessed our Southeast Asia. They guessed Japan, which was a fine guess. Taiwan can often look like Japan, so that's not too bad, but and they did get closer with that guess. So I wanted to clear that up. The other thing I just wanted to mention that you don't, I mean, sometimes you run into, but it's it's not one where I can just click anywhere and show you an example, are the root numbers. So they have these kind of flower designs. I don't know if you can quite see that, but we'll take a look at the Plunkett guide. Maybe they'll have a better example. But these green flower design for their root numbers. So that's Taiwan. That will get you to the correct place most of the time. I mean, really look out for these diagonals going all the way to the bottom of the pole, and that'll get you there. And then obviously the Chinese writing. Let's go to Singapore next. So the trickiest part about Singapore, when you're learning it anyways, is just finding it on the map. So if you can find the Southeast Asia and Malaysia, it is at the very tip here of between Malaysia and Indonesia, and it's just this island here. And so this one example has pretty much everything that you're going to need to know to identify Singapore. So the first thing that you're going to notice is it is a very big city, and it is a tropical climate, and it is very clean, right? So there's no trash whatsoever. You'll never see trash anywhere in this city. Very clean, very well-to-do, and the tropical plants, but also One of the big indications that I'm in Singapore are these street signs. So they have the rounded edges, and it's a very distinct font as well. So sometimes you can just, after you've seen this quite a few times, you will recognize it immediately. I think we've seen one Singapore, and um, I don't recall or not if our opponent got it correct, but if you do run up against a player who's like returning to GeoGuessr, like they've taken 3 years off for some reason, well, I can tell you. So Singapore used to show up in the games much more often than it does now. And it was one of those countries that you just, if you played the game, you learned what it looked like. So those are some of the big clues. The other thing that I wanted to talk about, so they drive on the left, but um, on the roads they have whatever it is ahead. So Xing ahead, crossing ahead, hump ahead. You'll often see that written on the road in English. They do speak English in Singapore, so most of the signs are going to be in English. And again, huge city, so you're going to see the big buildings, tropical, very nice, very clean. The only other city that you might even get this confused with, and I may have done this earlier as well, was the Kuala Lumpur. So, but if you guess there, you're not going to be too far off. But that's what Singapore looks like. And then finally, let's take a look at Israel. So we have run into Israel a few times, and I think we have lost not knowing it. So in Israel, they have yellow license plates. They look very similar to the back plates in the UK, or I always say Amsterdam. I mean to say the Netherlands. So the yellow license plates like the Netherlands, they often paint their curbs white and some other color, black, blue. And then the other huge giveaway is their signs often have Hebrew and sometimes Arabic. So we'll take a look on the Plonket guides for some more examples of Hebrew. But if you run into the Hebrew, that like Israel is the country that you're going to be in most of the time. So, pretty much all of the time. I don't think I've ever seen Hebrew anywhere outside of Israel, not on a temple, and been anywhere else. So those are the three countries that I wanted to quickly go over. They are small, so the countries look very similar throughout, and I didn't need a ton of examples to show you. But let's take a quick look at the guides. So Taiwan, so they have the Chinese, traditional Taiwan, Chinese. Here's another example of the black and yellow diagonal stripes on the poles. They go all the way to the bottom. So some other countries, they don't always go to the bottom. So South Korea is the one that I'm kind of thinking of that you might get it confused by. Usually in South Korea, they'll stop a few feet off the bottom of the pole. They drive on the right. They have the double yellow. These mirrors. We see this in a lot of Eastern Asia countries. So don't let that send you specifically here or Japan or South Korea. I think I made that mistake in an earlier video. So these do show up in a lot of East Asian countries. This looks similar to the Japan bollard, but it's not as common. But just pay attention to these. If you see that, you will likely see a pole with these diagonals. So those are the major ones I wanted to cover there for Taiwan. So now let's look at Israel. So the yellow plates, they drive on the right. I wasn't sure based on the example that I gave, but then they have this Hebrew. So let me open that up so you can see. So these are what the Hebrew letters look like, and then they have the Arabic as well. And yeah, these how do they call these? Bright and warm colored stone buildings. Okay, but they don't look that bright to me, but that's how they describe them. Oh, the lines, yellow on the outside and white on the middle, just like you see in Southern Africa. So pay attention to that. That will help you get to Israel as well. And then the white and the color. So I had a blue example in mind. There's red and black. Those are the major things. Oh, maybe the stop sign. I don't see this too often, but the stop sign has just a hand. So that's a good indication that you are in Israel. And then we'll just take another quick look at Singapore. They start off just saying that it looks clean and orderly. Here's another example of the sign. I think mostly you'll see these black license plates. So if you're looking at license plates, look for black license plate. Unfortunately, Malaysia and Indonesia also use black license plates. So not a perfect giveaway there if you're trying to decide, are you Singapore or Malaysia, which is where you're going to get confused. And then like hump ahead. So we talked about that. I don't know that I've noticed the green buses, but I just didn't know the clue there. So yeah, I think that is all we need to go over. Oh, let's see our new click locations. I did make a few adjustments. So we now have, so if you're new with us, so what we're doing here is I don't want to be making extremely good guesses just because I'm an experienced player. What I want to do is just make guesses that reflect the knowledge that a new player would have. So initially we only had 6 or 7 spot where we could even click in our duels, and we have slowly expanded that as we dug deeper into each region and country. And we've been adding those as we've gone and then adjusting our kind of hedge guesses. So so the Middle East is probably the biggest adjustment that we've made. We were kind of clicking over here. Now that we have Israel, we're going to move our Middle East guess over to UAE. I think that between that and Oman, those are the 2 countries that are going to show up most for Middle East. Again, I'm not going to worry about Jordan. It shows up occasionally. Same thing with Tunisia. It probably shows up more than Jordan, but for now we're just going to be wrong on those 2 countries. We'll put them in the Middle East and we'll be wrong, and then once we start seeing them, then we'll make the adjustment. We'll learn about those countries, and then we'll make better guesses. So when we see them, for now, we'll just guess Middle East, and we'll unfortunately lose some points in those rounds. Then we added Taiwan and Singapore, and then I did make an adjustment to this Eastern Russia, I guess. This was way too far. There's just not enough coverage out here to justify it being top of China here. So I put it closer to Mongolia. That'll help us when we run into Mongolia as well. We did have that in a previous game, and this guess did kind of save us, but we just made that small adjustment there. North America is still pretty sparse, so we have Mexico, US, and then the Guatemala. And then Oceania is still very sparse. We've seen 1 New Zealand that we got burnt on, but for the most part, we've won there. I think we've only lost in North America twice, and one of those players is no longer on GeoGuessr. So take that as you will. The other big news in the GeoGuessr world, this will be released a few weeks after, but the Ghana tape, black tape, if you're familiar with that meta clue, is mostly dead. So rest in peace, Ghana, black tape. They have replaced most of the coverage there. So I'm glad that we didn't spend much time learning that. I just kind of mentioned it as kind of a funny meta that is pretty popular, but we're still not too concerned about figuring out Central Africa. I think we had one opponent who was able to guess Kenya, but they were kind of hedged between Kenya and Uganda. And then South Africa's pretty good. So yeah, I don't think I have anything else to say about the map. I think we are ready to play, and I'm going to remember to switch my camera over. So I started in the bottom right today just so that I could get the maps out of the way, and because I didn't have anybody on the leaderboard. We are going to use some tokens, so it does appear that those points are getting more competitive. I'll talk more about the points once we see some. So let's see. Yeah, we're playing moving. So we're going to I think we're going to stick with moving for the entire playthrough. Maybe we'll do no move if I ever do this again and start with there. So let's play some games. So yeah, pretty good episode. Last time we won 4 of the 5 games we played. And this one might be, well, he's having a rough go of it. Okay, we have double center lines, yellow lines in the center. We have, ooh, let's see this writing here. Danger, keep off railing. So English and I have a feeling this one is going to be Canada and maybe Eastern Canada. But right now we're still just guessing North America, North. And so the Kansas, Nebraska guess. So it was Canada. I was expecting it to be a little further east. But our North America North guess works well. Okay, now we are probably in Europe. We have long license plates, and we do have Latin characters, not necessarily in English. Oh, those are not Latin characters. Let's double check the license plates. So it does look like we have that blue strip on the end. So I'm gonna say that we are probably not in Russia or Ukraine, because as we remember, they didn't have those strips. So we'll just do our regular Europe guess. So perhaps we're in Bulgaria or Serbia, one of those countries with this Cyrillic writing. So they guess Spain, and we are in Serbia. So far, so good. Guessing in the middle of the continents. We have learned quite a few of these countries over here, so it might be time to make an adjustment. All right, we have Indian writing, or with the line on top. So Indian style, Hindi style, not necessarily Hindi. I don't think it is going to be Hindi. I think it's going to be Bengali. But we have a clear camera. So we did talk about that. So India has really bad camera here. And Bangladesh does not. So the writing matches Bangladesh. We did talk about that, so I am going to make that adjustment to that country and see how we do here. So they're going Thailand, not a bad guess. I think that's fine. And were we were just barely in Bangladesh, and that's the game. I will press the number 1 to say good game to our opponent, and that is another win. So I think we would have won that one even if we had just guessed middle of India. So that is fine, I think. And we get plopped in the middle of this division here. And looks like the top 26 will get promoted. So I think it's going to be pretty similar to last week in terms of the points that we need. But I will continue to, so let me just review that if you're new. So points are based on winning games and then getting rounds correct. So in that last game, I think we were correct on all 3 rounds, or we were closer on all 3 rounds. So we got full 10 points for that, and then we got 90 points for the win. And that got doubled based on the tokens that we used. So if you're in a higher division and you are just struggling to get out of it because you can't accumulate enough points, here's a tip for you. So if you are awarded these tokens, which you can use to wager on your game, based on the number of days that you log in and then open this multiplayer dual screen. So if you come to this screen, it will award you these tokens. So I logged in yesterday just to see how we did, and it awarded me 12 tokens. And then I logged in again today, and it awarded me another 12. I didn't play it all yesterday, but I still had the 24 tokens. So um, if you want to like take a few days off from playing and accumulate those, so but still log in, go to the duels page, and it will give you those tokens, and you can save them up, and then like Wednesday, Thursday, you can start playing, and you will have all of those tokens that you accumulated in the previous days that all of the other people in your group are not going to have to use. So little tip there if you want to give that a shot. So we'll do the 4x and let's play it again. Oh, I meant to review that last game. Oh well. I don't think that was too tricky. We had pretty straightforward rounds there. Excuse me. So maybe we'll take a quick look and review after this game. So it's funny. So despite like clicking in the middle of the U.S., middle of Mexico, those are two of our stronger countries. All right, so tropical with the white line in the middle. What else should we look at here? Hopefully there's some language up here. That looks like a French bollard. Hotel safari. Okay. So we are not in France. We are in a French, a country that was a French colony. But let's see if we can look at the sun. The sun is right on the border. So we are somewhere Central Africa. We'll see our opponent went South Africa. It is Senegal. So Senegal, a lot of French infrastructure. I think we talked about the lat pull down bar. So we'll take another look at that, but so far we don't need to worry too much about that. This sign is Greek to me. So we'll give it our Europe guess. Let's see. They did figure out Greece. We should probably learn Greece next. I think Greece and Poland will be our next two countries. We've had a few opponents identify Poland. Okay, hey, we got the stripes going to the bottom of the ground. So, and it looks pretty tropical. Let's give it our Taiwan guess. So I'm just kind of putting it in the middle of the country. And I did mention so all of our opponents to this point have guessed Japan on Taiwan. And unfortunately, that is closer than the border of Indonesia and Malaysia. So good thing we learned that here. Let's see if we can find some language. So very odd looking language, at least to Americans. This player is guessing quick. So Southeast Asia. It will be Thai. And they did figure out Thailand and did some damage there. So pretty decent player, I would say. So it's going to come down to this last round. Give way in black. We are driving on the left. You can see the cars coming towards us. This is going to be Australia. And that is our Australia guess. We were slightly closer. Oh, and we're going to have one more round. All right. So good guess. Good opponent, strong opponent here for our level. All right, we have some tropical here. I'm guessing I'm getting like the South America vibes. I did see a yellow plate, but only one. A square pole. What else? Let's see where the sun is. The sun is right on the border. What else do we see here? I don't have a good idea of, is that a square or an octagon pole? Let's say it's octagon and put it in Mexico. So boom, our opponent went South America and they were correct. So they won, good job. We'll take a look at that, see if we can find some clues that would have helped us there. But we still get some points. All right, so because we wanted to look at the previous one, we will click the history. All right, so Canada, I figured Canada mostly on vibes. Actually, these concrete posts are for the guardrail. That kind of helped me identify Canada. But the yellow middle line's white outer, and then we did find some English on this sign. So that was enough to get us to North America. So this is a game ago. Then we had, so very European looking country. We looked at the license plates. We saw the blue on the side of a long license plate. And then we had Latin letters and Cyrillic. So that helped us figure out Europe. And so the blue on the side of the license plate also helped us rule out Ukraine and Russia. So those are two special countries that we are guessing. And then finally we had the India Bangladesh guess. This is the Bengali language. So when you see these triangles in the language with the stripe over the top, that is Bengali. It does show up in India as well, but we looked at the camera or the car, and it was just a regular Generation 4 blur. It wasn't like the big gross blur that you see in most of India. And that will help you. So based on the triangles and the lack of the blur, we were able to get to Bangladesh. So we did go over that in our India breakdown, and that helped us there. So let's take a look at the other game. All right, I'm going to pause this for 1 second. All right, let's take a look at that last game now. So let's start with round 1, which we had Senegal. So, of course, Senegal used to be a French colony. So we have the French bollards. We're going to see other French infrastructure. And oh, it had Senegal right in there. I didn't notice that. So sometimes I miss some of those details that we should when I'm streaming, and I think that'll be the case on that last round that we lost on, which was Chile, I believe. Then we had Greece. We haven't learned Greece yet. That might be on the short list of new things to learn. So if you see Greek letters, put it in Greece. So similar to the thought process on Israel, where we're saying if you see Hebrew, guess Israel. If you see Greek letters, put it in Greece. So I don't know. That should be an easy one for us. I don't want to oversimplify it, but yeah, that one should have been easy for most players. So I don't know if we see that one again. If we see Greek letters again, I think we'll go Greece. So so if we say it's in Europe and we see the Greek letters, we'll do the same thing that we did it with our Bangladesh round. Because we did learn that. We've seen that a few times now. So we went over this at the beginning of the episode. So we have these black and white stripes, and we have Chinese. And again, a lot of players at this level will confuse Taiwan and Japan. Easy mistake to make. We've seen that twice now, but thankfully this time we get the points with our new Taiwan guess. Here we had Thailand. I so we did find some Thai writing. So if you recall, I think we've seen this a few times as well. So we had they look like N's and U's with various marks on top and below. That's the most common way to identify Thai. So good guess by our opponent. That might be one where we need to start guessing Thailand too. I think we've seen that at least 3 times. So maybe we should add Thailand. So Thailand and Greece, we're going to start guessing those countries as well. We had our typical Australia. So I mentioned as we were playing around, the giveaway, the letters were black. So in New Zealand, they're going to be red, and the way to remember that is by their flags. So the stars on the New Zealand flag are red, and so if the giveaway is in red, you're in New Zealand. If it's black, you are in Australia. Most of the time, I'm sure that there are going to be exceptions to that rule, but our Oceania guess works again for us. We close that there. And then let's take a look at this Chile. So now the mountain I should have paid attention to that. So this dry mountain, very common in, at least for sure, the part of Chile that we were in. I think in one of the previous episodes, I talked about how much I liked learning Chile because of the diverse from north to south regions. So these are the like dry sandy mountains that I mentioned at the very north, and we really should have looked at these poles a bit closer because they do look very Chilean. For some reason, I thought I saw an octagon pole, but this one in particular, I went too far. So it is kind of hollowed out in the middle, and it doesn't have the section. So similar to the Brazil pole, but there are no sections in it. So it's a square concrete pole with one side just being hollowed out. Not one side, but two sides. So this side is also hollowed out as well. So I really should have gotten there. That's all right. We ended up losing. I think we may have lasted another round if I had done our Chile guess, which was right on top of Santiago. But yeah, oh, it looks like we leveled up. So we'll get our reward here. It looks like with just some coins. So let's get back to the duels. And yeah, with those coins, you can update your avatar. I've just been using this red hair and red shirt so that it's hopefully easy to see for you guys when you're watching these videos and differentiate me from my opponents. But let's do another 4 tokens and let's play again. So I think that was a fair and good win by our opponent there. So. And we're still strong in the US. We are in trouble in Finland. It says India. That surprises me. All right. So we have a special car here. I'm not 100% positive on what this one might be. It does have the stripes. Let's see here. I don't feel like we are in... feels closer to Russia. So maybe we'll do this Russia guess. Let's see how that works out for us. And it was Mongolia, so I'll review that on the next game because we didn't have a ton of time there. But good guess by our opponent with that Kazakhstan. They do have a special car, so it looks like maybe was that Cyrillic? Hard to say. Let's see. We do have a blue stripe on the long license plate and Zona. So I think we can go with Europe on this. And that's what I'll do. Just our typical Europe guess. And looks like they found a domain name. So LT or IT. I think it's an LT. Let's see. And it was LT, not IT. So that kind of threw them off for Lithuania. Did look like a lowercase I, but everything was connected there. Okay, so we have this white truck here. It is looking pretty dry. Let's see. Can we make out that flag? Is that, I don't think that's a country flag. Interesting. We have, can't tell if that is actually following us or not. It is kind of tropical. And it's just going to click us backwards. Let's see if we can find maybe some writing or some people. So it looks darker skin. And we do have some writing. It is in English. So what are these Africa? Oh, .ke. So I was thinking Central Africa, and then the KE is going to be Kenya. So let's start using those domain names. And unfortunately, they'll be in Senegal, and that'll be the end of the game there. So we'll press 1 for good game, and we'll review those. Couple special rounds there. So, all right. So you can click this history, but they also have this up here. So your last game shows the breakdown. Excuse me. So Mongolia has a bunch of different special cars. So this is one of them with the red mirrors and the car bars. The more common one that you will see, it looks like a truck with a tent in the back. And there are even 1 or 2 other special cars there. You will see some Cyrillic. So here's some Cyrillic up here. But like the special car and the Cyrillic, so the 3 countries that you're going to be thinking about: Mongolia, Kazakhstan, and Kyrgyzstan. Kyrgyzstan usually has a silver truck with black mirrors and car bars, I think. I don't recall if they have the car bars or not. And then Kazakhstan is usually a white truck. So our Russia guess, we haven't quite learned these big countries because we haven't had issues with our opponents knowing them. So that continues still, although at least they're remembering that it was a special car and it's got to be one of those countries. So our Russia guess helped us. I think it was with the special car. And I'm not sure what else helped us kind of get away from our Western Russia guess. So then we had Lithuania. So very typical Europe. I don't know that there were a ton of distinguishing things here. So our opponent did find the domain name, which threw them off because the L looked like an I, or he couldn't think of Lithuania. But we do have the long license plates with the blue side. And I think did we find some language? Maybe we did. Let's see here. Language that was with Latin letters but not English. So that was our Central Europe guess. And then finally the Kenya. So again, we found some people with darker skin. And I don't think we looked at the sun. This could have been either way. So it does say it is in the south. And that would be odd, I guess. So it is certainly within the tropics, so not really helpful there. And then we eventually found the domain name. So that was kind of an obvious domain to help us out. So we were thinking Central Africa here. And then the domain, I think, was over here at .ke. So Kenya, not too many ones to get confused there. So hopefully that was not like a extremely amazing guess, because I think the clues were obvious there. And yeah, so another win for us. And let's keep using our points because or our tokens, because I don't know how much we'll be able to play this weekend, but keep it rolling. Okay. All right. Let's see. We looks like we're gonna have some writing on these signs here, and looks Spanish. So, and the sun is in the south, so I'm leaning more towards Spain, but nothing for sure. I think these are longer license plates, yes. And we did learn Spain. Let's see if we can find a bollard here. We do see the bollards, but hard to kind of make out what they look like on the side we were hoping for. There we go. So typically in Spain, those will be yellow. So I don't know. Maybe this is not Spain, but I think Spain's probably a pretty good guess. So we did learn Spain. We'll guess Spain. They're going Italy. That's probably a good guess as well. But we were in Spain. With Italy, you're typically going to have smaller license plates in the front. So we haven't distinguished that yet. Okay, so we have yellow middle and white outside lines. This does not immediately strike me as North America, but oh, we learned Colombia though. So if we look at the back of these signs, they have this cross on it. It is called, we call it in the game the Colombian cross, and very common throughout the country of Colombia. Here's a much better look at it. So that would fit with the yellow lines in this kind of tropical weather and this house here. So we'll put it in the middle of Colombia, sort of hedged up maybe a little to the northwest, because most of the coverage is there. Switzerland, I'm not sure. That's a fantastic guess. And that is the game there. So I think this one for sure, we did not make any huge, like amazing guesses. So let's just take a quick look. So first one was Spain. So we saw the Spanish and we saw the long license plates and like this dry mountainous region is very Spain. Let's take another look at the sign here. So unfortunately the sun is not working with us, but you can just barely make out the route number. So A is actually in two different regions of Spain, but it is like the letter dash the route number, and then it has a bright colored background. So that could be yellow, blue, red, green, pretty much any of those colors. I don't think I've seen a purple one, but yeah, those are very common throughout Spain. We talked about those in the Spain episode. So yeah, not a super guess there. And then our opponent just missed the continent here. So they were they Switzerland. I thought I was going to say they really liked those Italy guesses. So no, that's not what happened. So the double yellow lines in the middle, the white on the outsides, and then if you've been following along, you've also been doing your learnable meta maps, and you for sure saw the Colombian cross show up many times on those games. So this is what it looks like. It There are other countries that have similar, but like this, it's thin um, on the edge, and yeah, it's just very distinctive. So keep your eye out for that. It's usually white. That's the the best way to describe that. So, quick game there. No amazing guesses. So, like the skill level is not um, like there's not an extreme gap between silver 2 and 3. In fact, I don't think we're gonna see enormous skill gaps until we hit the master level. So we'll just slowly continue to learn things and keep winning. So, all right. So we guess first quite a bit. So one of the misconceptions that I often see is that like you'll hear it like every level. You can't just guess the quickly and expect to win at this level. Well, I wouldn't be matched up against you if that didn't work, and you will hear that all the way up through all of the master divisions. And it's clearly not true. So we have long license plates. Did we find a language? Auto Cervezas. Um, we have long license plates in the front and back. I don't know if we have any other indication that we are. I mean, it did look Spanish, but let's put it here. Um, and yeah, it struck me as generic Europe and not specifically Spain. Even though that cerveza is a word, looked like it could be Spanish. So we have Cyrillic here. Let's see if we can find some license plates. Hard to say if these have. I don't think they have a blue on the side, but we do have that yellow border and very city-ish. So I was saying let's go a little bit outside of Moscow. This one may. I'm not sure. Not fantastic at Russia yet, but that worked out for us. So most of the Russian coverage is close to Moscow. All right, we have short little lines on the outside. We have a street sign with TN to indicate the street, um, and Latin but not English. Looks fairly cold. And we have long license plates, so we'll give it our Europe guess. Um, and I think this might be Estonia. Very tricky. Did I guess? I did. And our opponent didn't guess at all. So they gave up, maybe? I don't know. And we're moving up the ranks pretty quickly. So I am going to shoot for just the single promotion again, but at least while we're playing here, I'll keep using our tokens. So maybe I didn't use it on that one. Let's just take a quick look there. So we had a lot of Baltics in this one, but at this level, our opponents aren't able to identify those individual countries. So yeah, so Latin, not English. We had long license plates with the blue, and we put it in the middle of Europe. That was Lithuania. Then we had our Russia round, and we had the Cyrillic, and we talked about when we looked at Russia, these crosswalks with the yellow border. So I'll come up close so that you can see it here. So so the regular crosswalk, it has 3 lines. A lot of the ex-Soviet countries will have just the 3 lines, and the guy with kind of alien head, and then the yellow border. So that got us to Russia, and then the license plates, they didn't have any blue on the side. So that is that, and the Estonia. So Estonia looks very similar to some of the Scandinavian countries, especially so Sweden also has these small dashes on the roads, and then mentioned the suffix on the street, or the abbreviation rather. So TN, and that is easy to confuse with Finland, which is TIE, I believe. And yeah, so that got me to Estonia, and just this like cold coverage. The trees don't even have leaves on them right now. It just feels cold. So that should help you get at least up into this area if you're gonna try to region guess. So um, let's do one more game, and we'll. Gosh, we're pretty high. Let's just use the 2 tokens, and we'll play one more and call it good. So this person has played 200 duels, so I have high expectations for them. All right, so immediately I'm thinking like South America, Latin America. That is an octagon pole. This is not. Let's keep looking. Yellow license plate. Can you move forward? Let's move forward. There we go. Okay. And so black tanks, but not in the style that we see in Mexico. But that is another yellow plate. So yellow plates are pretty common in Colombia. So we saw the Colombian cross earlier. Let's try another one for Colombia. And we were correct. Good guess by our opponent, Peru. I think the architecture and the mountainous region, that works well. So nice job. Railway crossing. And what do we have here? Queen's Park. Are we driving? We're driving on the left, and all the road lines are white. So we'll give our Australia guess, and that worked out for us again. And I always get tired at the end of these videos, so I know this is going to be the last one. Don't let me do another one. And my comments get less and less. Let's see. Where's the sun here? So sun is south-ish. Can we see any license plates? They do look long. Any other clues to get us anywhere? It looked like we were driving on the right. And then Latin letters, not English. I think our typical Europe guess will be good. And whew, they nailed it. Nice job. So, Sweden guess. Okay, we do have that yellow outline of the crosswalk, but we have way too many lines on it for Russia. And we do have a blue mark on our long license plate. It does look fairly cold. We're driving on the right. So we have some flags here. It does have European Union. I don't immediately know this flag. I probably should. But let's give it our Europe guess again. And they found Czechia. Okay. Good. Okay, we have English. Looks like white lines in the middle. Correctional center. Man, they guess quickly here. We're driving on the left. I think the sun is going to be in the north. So we'll do our Australia guess. They get Australia as well, and we are slightly closer. That Australia guess is just serving us really well. The whole Oceania guess, I guess. Okay, we have interesting divider. looks like Spanish. And oh, I saw a white dot on the license plate, and this one is smaller with blue on top. So those are Argentina license plates. And our opponent is missing it with Brazil. He was zoomed right in on one of the common double poles that you see in Argentina. So maybe we'll look at his replay and see if we can find that there. So let's just do a quick breakdown. Okay, so Colombia, the yellow license plates here. I think we saw some Spanish. This architecture, very South American, Latin America. So there was a good one there. Australia, so we had all white lines. We had driving on the left, and I don't know if we checked the sun, if we had time for that. We also have this green pole. So this green pole with the there's actually a few different ways that they'll put this here, the markings for the pole, the tag. This one is silver. These often show up in Queensland, so the green poles with the silver tags. The similar ones, there's like a black writing, black numbers that will show up just outside of Brisbane. So that when we go over Australia, we will need to make sure we know how to do that. Okay, so this initially just seemed like a generic Europe one. Let's take a look and see what our opponent saw on this. So one of the ways that you can improve is by watching what your opponent does. So we can hit this watch replay here, and we'll watch this for just a second. So we'll see what they find. Oh, they found a sign with maybe the cities, and they're just going to pause here and wait and wait. And if you are tempted to put this city into Google and then find a good guess, please don't. They will ban you for that. So yeah, that is a warning for any new players. You are not allowed to Google. So that was suspicious at the very least. But they did find a sign, and let's see, what else did we want to say? All right, Czechia. So we looked at the sign and we said, okay, that looks like a Russian sign, but let's count the lines. There are 5 there. That is not what they do in Russia. Also, in Russia, they have white and yellow, not white and red. So another thing to keep in mind there. Oh, they did find there was a .cz, so I'm sure our opponent could find Czechia with that domain name. I missed it, so but we were actually pretty good with our guess there. So that saved us some points. Then we had another Australia. So we had the white lines, all white lines, and we had English. I didn't quite have time to check the sun, but it looked like it would have been a little tricky, but I think it's here. And that is clearly in the north. So all white lines, north sun, English, that puts us in Australia, or at least Oceania. And then finally, Argentina. So let's actually take a look at our opponent's replay, because I wanted to show you the poll that they found. So we had the Spanish, and then we had a black dot on the license plate. These are also common signs, style of sign with the arrows on the left, and then the city name on the right. You can see that in Argentina and Chile, and then I think Uruguay as well. So this poll up here in the top right, that is a very Argentinian poll. So yeah, it looked like looked like our opponent got us on one round that may not have been particularly clean, but we still get the win. So um, yeah, with that, I'm gonna wrap up this video. If you learned something, please give me a like. If you want to continue learning or just enjoy listening to me, I'm sorry, but if you would give me a subscribe, that would be amazing. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.